Welcome to today's webinar, courtesy of the Kentucky Small Business Development Center in Louisville. Discover no-cost, valuable business services to help you thrive, whether starting your entrepreneurial journey or scaling your existing business. We have the resources and expertise to help you succeed. For more information, please visit our website or text 502-977-5800. Thank you for joining us today. Feel free to use the chat feature to ask questions or engage with our speaker. Let's get started.
Hi, welcome everybody. I'm Dave Oetken. I'm the director here at the Louisville Small Business Development Center. As you heard, one of 13 centers across the state of Kentucky. And I'm also joined with my good friend and co-worker, Janet Flaw. Hey, Janet.
Hi, Dave. Good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for joining us on this Tuesday. We're doing another Toolkit Tuesday for you guys. So thanks for joining. And just to make sure everything's working well, and if you wouldn't mind, just look at the bottom of your screen there. You should see a toolbar pop up. If it doesn't, just hover down there with your cursor, it should pop right up. There you'll see the chat feature. And if you wouldn't mind, just so I know that you can see and hear me okay, just tell me your name and where you're joining from. Just so I know you're out there and still breathing. I can see you guys popping in. But it's always fun for me to find out where everybody's joining from. It's kind of my most exciting part of the day. There's James from Carrollton. Hey, James, how are you? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us today. Hi, Judy. How are you? Good to hear from you again. Sue Ellen from Lexington. Thanks for joining. Hey, Stu from Shepherdsville, just a little bit south of us here in Louisville. Sure appreciate you guys joining today. Well, you know, if you've been following me along here all these years, you know that what I really enjoy doing is kind of digging into the numbers and finding out ways to analyze things, analyze the numbers. And one of the most powerful things that I've found that really makes a big difference in any business and any endeavor, and really even in your personal life, is tracking and putting together metrics for your business here. So I'm going to share my screen, hopefully get that going. And we'll talk a little bit about building a dashboard for your business. How are we looking, Janet?
Looks good.
All right. Check one for me. So let's just talk a little bit about dashboarding and a little bit about me. I'm Dave. I'm the director here at the Louisville Small Business Development Center. You know, if you need help with anything, or, you know, the Small Business Development Center is a free program to help you as a business owner start and grow your business. Have a great team here. We are really good at a few things. We're great at a lot of things, but we're really good at putting together loan packages, help you find capital for your business. We can have access to a lot of databases. If you need marketing studies, metrics, things like that, we can certainly provide that information for you. And then most importantly, you know, all of us have been business owners, and we've worked in industry. We've worked with a lot of people. We've learned a lot of stuff. So it's really great to have a free resource to just talk a little bit about what you're doing and, you know, analyzing where you are. And we can certainly help you find resources. And so it's just a great program. And I encourage you guys to reach out to us. Again, we don't cost anything. We're here to help you. So we're going to talk about 4 things today, a little bit about why dashboarding is important, some dashboard apps right off the bat, how to build a dashboard in Excel, and then how to cobble together some different AI tools to create a dashboard that's automatic. So when you think about the why, it all comes down to these 2 things. Why we would want to put together a dashboard, because putting together a dashboard, you know, if you don't use automating tools, and there's a reason for this, you're adding extra work. But, the old saying is you manage what you measure. And if you're interested, a great example is if you're interested in losing weight, one of the best tools you can use to start that process is to weigh yourself every day. And it's the same with any system. By measuring, you automatically manage whatever that process is, and things tend to improve once it's on top of mind, right in front of there. If you've joined me for some of the financial analysis webinars that I've done, you know that just getting numbers and looking at a single number does you no good as you're analyzing financials. The only way to make sense of any numbers, of any spreadsheet, of any profit and loss statement, is you have to compare it with other things, that number over time. You have to track and look for trends. And it's the same way when you're putting together a dashboard. That is the whole thing here. It's like we're looking for trends. We're seeing if the decisions that we're making in our business are having a positive effect on our business. And if they're not, if they're having a negative effect, stop doing what we're doing, try something else. Or if it's really helping and we can see the numbers trending, double down on it and then move that forward. But once you get things in place, everything that's new is a little bit different and uncomfortable. But making dashboarding and looking at these dashboards and collecting this data becomes a habit. And the power of habit is very important. And once you build that into your business, you won't go back from it. If you guys are if you're into self-improvement, or there's a whole methodology of habit tracking and working on the trends based on your habit tracker. Same thing with business, no different. There's a lot of benefits for putting together a dashboard. Now, a dashboard is a little bit different than, each month you might get your financials and you would look at those and, see how you're doing. But, put together a dashboard is, it can be in real time. It could be changing as activities happen. If you're looking for your financials, at the end of the month, you turn in all your data to your bookkeeper. They do their work. Maybe in about mid of the following month, you get information on the previous month's activity and performance. But in a dashboard, especially if it's real-time connected, those numbers and those trends and that information will change almost instantaneously, or whatever you sync up. And so you can really make some quick decisions. And what's really key about small business is that things are moving really fast, even if it's just you as a solopreneur, but opportunities, sales, all these things can trend really fast. And often, and really in reality, you really can't wait for your financials to come out in the middle of the following month to make decisions on those. I mean, you need to be right on top of everything. So a dashboard can help you squeeze those chunks of time down in performance and so you can make decisions quicker instead of waiting for and shooting from the hip for a longer period of time. It actually saves time because all these things can be automated now. And, it almost turns into your monthly financials are just part of the collection of data to do the taxes at the end of the year. And you make your management decisions based on your dashboard and the information that's coming in there. And generally, once you start looking at these numbers, you generally can increase your profitability because of the focus you're putting on there. Any profitable business that we've come across and worked with, the more the information of activity and numbers come together and are fresh and looked at a lot, then those are generally highly profitable businesses. The businesses that tend to struggle and have cash flow problems are the ones where the owner and the manager doesn't really analyze the numbers, doesn't really understand the numbers, really doesn't look at the numbers. So The team can be motivated through these numbers because everybody wants to know how they're doing, especially in a dashboard. You can put together a bunch of different things and see how these things balance out. It doesn't just have to be sales numbers. It could be leads. It could be employee satisfaction. It could be a bunch of different things. So those things, all the information in one spot really helps decision making. And as you give information to your team and they can see that they're doing well, they become more and more motivated. So there's kind of some key elements here when you're thinking about what things that you want to put together. Now, dashboard really needs to be not just a number, but it has to show a trend. You know, that's the only way you can see whether you're making progress or not. The picking the numbers are important too, because if you need to really spend some time thinking about what the goals are for the business. You know, where you're going, what are the priorities, and then use numbers and data to feed into your dashboard to help push the organization towards that goal. And with real-time analysis and interactive elements, you know, it's easy for a team to make quick decisions, understand whether this opportunity is really an opportunity or a detriment to the company, based on what you know and what you've seen over time. Some things to avoid is not doing that process I just spoke about, it, knowing what the goals are before you build your dashboard. Now, often, if you're right at the bottom and you know, you're trying to really get things in line, and you're not exactly sure where the goals should be, starting to track some basic numbers just to get in the habit of it, I'd highly recommend that. So start where you are, and as you think of going forward, you know, you can switch up your dashboard to include goals and numbers that will help you move towards those goals. Also, sometimes, and it's tracking too much information is just kind of a waste of time, especially if it's information that you can't affect. So, you know, a key element of a successful dashboarding program is that when people see those numbers, they know what affects those numbers. And so they know personally how they can make those numbers improve based on actions. That's pretty much the key. So you don't have to track everything, but you know, track the things that's important. But you know, again, in the beginning, track key things like you can just start with revenue trends or cost of goods sold percentage or sales per employee, things of that nature. Using dashboard software is great. Now, we'll look at a couple here in just a minute, but you know, these days there's so many applications for dashboard software where you can just be in a coffee shop and whip out your phone and understand what's going on in your business and within minutes. So also, if you focus too much on style and appearance over substance on your dashboard, you know, to make it look great and pretty. I find this a lot. You know, people are very creative, and everyone likes a good-looking thing. So I spend a lot of time trying to make it look great and get all the bells and whistles. But I mean, just a simple Excel dashboard is fantastic. I'll show you one of those here in just a second too. So when you're looking at apps and different software, dashboarding software, you know, from my personal standpoint, I'm not a graphic designer, and I don't want to spend a lot of time putting stuff together. So make sure that the apps that you're looking at have a good library of templates so you can change things up. And you also want to have some guardrails in the app too, since let's just say, for example, if everyone in the company is going to have access and see their dashboard and maybe add to the add some of their data to it if it's not automatically shared. You want to make sure that you have control over the data that goes in and out, and then maybe roles, security roles where, for example, like in QuickBooks, I can segment who can enter information or receive information from different modules if I want to. So that way, not everybody can change the way the template is or things like that. You want to kind of keep all that with the administrator, which would be you. The key is to any good dashboarding software is easy integration. And in a minute, I'll show you some ways to do that with anything. But if it's automatically integrated, it makes it so much easier when you start to put your different applications together. And you want to make sure that the app is mobile responsive and easily customizable as you go forward. Because the idea is like you don't want to build a dashboard and then that's it. As your business goals change or opportunities come up that you want to take advantage of, you may want to retool your dashboard so that you can keep track of other things. And as you add dashboard metrics, there's always going to be like a core group of metrics. We call those evergreen metrics. But as you change strategies or opportunities or whatever, you might want to change your dashboard to reflect all that. So you want to be able to easily customize it to your new roles going forward. So here's a quick dashboard, and if everybody used QuickBooks, I think 99% of everyone does use QuickBooks. There's a built-in dashboard. This is just where a basic place to start. And this is great to set up and start using and publishing with your company. But as we look at this dashboard, it is totally accounting based. And while dashboards are just that, it's almost like a report card of here's the numbers. There is kind of another idea where you want to put together other elements of your business and track those things too, so that you can see how all these things play together. So I guess maybe, I want to say, I don't know, maybe 30 or 40 years ago, can't remember the first name. I remember the book, Kaplan and Norton and Kaplan, I think was the name, came with the idea of the balanced scorecard. And when I say dashboard, in my mind, I'm thinking about like kind of a balanced scorecard format. And their whole premise was that, if you improve one number and focus on that one number, often it causes issues with other parts of the business that may not be positive. So sometimes making something better in one instance can make something worse in another instance. So for example, here's a really bad example, but if I want to increase sales, all I have to do is really drop my price by half against my competitors and my sales will go up. But what happens, my profitability will probably go way down. And so that's not a good idea. I did approve that we want sales to go up, and by gosh, we did it. But now we're short on cash because our profits are way down. We're selling stuff for less than we can buy it for. So the idea is that we want to balance out a lot of aspects of our business, and just looking at the accounting numbers is great, but it's not particularly the best way to manage a business. So we want to, in Kaplan and Norton, their whole premise was there's four basic parts of the business. There's the financial, there's the personal, there's sales, and there's like learning and growth, So So if you can, if you can keep your customers, sales, customers happy, if you can keep your employees happy and paid well and engaged, then you should have good accounting numbers, and the company should be a good place to work. So I'm just telling you all this to kind of set this up as we look at some other dashboarding apps and things that we want to, have some other elements in there. Here's a couple. Let's go through some quick apps here before we dig into some other stuff. So again, there are a million of these things, and what I look for is the ones that are fairly inexpensive and they're easy to use and, like I said, customizable. So, DataPad's a good one that I've messed around with a bit. It can get a little bit pricey as things go on. They of course, started out as a low-cost free thing. They've added a bunch of bells and whistles, but it's a great tool. Datapad.io, check that out. It integrates with a bunch of different things, so that's a real positive. DataBox is another one that is pretty simple to use. I'm just picking out two here to look at the moment, but you can see that they have a bunch of different formats on the dashboard. It can pull in. It integrates with most popular applications that you're using now, like your QuickBooks and things of that nature. Three other ones. Zoho. Zoho has a really cool fully integrated suite of applications that all work well together. They have an accounting software. They have a CRM, and all of them are automatically integrated with the analytics module. They're not super expensive. I haven't really used their accounting much. I've used their CRM software there for a while. So that's almost like an all-in-one platform there. Clipfolio and Dash this or other smaller ones that I've played around with. I'm just kind of throwing these things at you. You'll just, because I know the question is going to pop here in just a sec, but yeah, you'll get a recording of this, and you can check these out for yourself. And then let's just go down to the granddaddy of them all. Let's just use an Excel, and there is a a ton of reasons to use Excel to build a dashboard. I was thinking about just showing you how to just pull this out, but I kind of changed my mind. But if you let's just say you want to put together a dashboard using your transactions from QuickBooks, you can just have QuickBooks export a CSV file of all your transactions for some period of time. It could be thousands of transactions. And then you plug that in Excel. Excel has a function called pivot table. You can turn this into a pivot table. And basically you're setting up a program, very easy to do. Just, I'm not going to jump through all the hoops for you today. Just go to YouTube, and it'll take you 10 seconds to find a video that can show you how to do this. But you can sort and filter this data in so many ways, and then it'll automatically populate into a dashboard, basically a chart or a graph or whatever you want to do. You can add 2 or 3 different charts and put them together on one spreadsheet, and there's your dashboard. And it's just that easy. The thing about Excel is that if you do it that way, I mean, you're looking at data. You can't really do it in real time. But if you a good application for using Excel in a dashboard is that, and this is some of the downside for the automatic apps that are just automatically refreshing, is that the people that let's just say you have like 5 departments in your business, and each department needs to report some numbers to build the company dashboard, and then everybody comes together in a weekly meeting and they look at the dashboard. There's an argument for that does not often get the results you look for, because there's no real activity or personal input into the data because it's automatically exported out. There's been some pretty decent studies about a good way to do it is that if you use an Excel spreadsheet to populate the dashboard, you have each department or each employee enter their own data into the dashboard, collect their own data, and enter it into the spreadsheet dashboard, and then pass it on to the next one as they add going forward. And this activity of actually collecting the data has kind of shown to help people really start to think about deeply about, why and how to affect and change the numbers in a positive way. So, um, I think that if the way I would recommend starting is, I would understand what the different apps are and how they kind of work. But I would really think about starting with Excel with a simple dashboard. And if you're just a solopreneur by yourself, and I've done this myself, and it actually works, is building your own dashboard and collecting the data and populating that data and collecting that data week after week after week. It is super powerful and super helpful as you build strategies and build your company and make it bigger. And so as you have a team and as people have to populate their own data, same thing. They generally will improve their performance if they're intimately involved in collecting and putting that data in. So that's a long way to say that I would just, oops, let me I'll tell you what I'm going to do here. Let me pop out of this real quick here and then pop over and let me show you this quick dashboard here. Yep. If you hit me up at the end, I'll send this to you, but all righty. Yeah, so here we go. Here is, hope everybody can see that. How are we looking, Janet?
Looks good.
Okay. So as I mentioned earlier, here's our evergreen metrics, just revenue, cash, whatever you want to put up there. It could be profit or cost of goods sold. And then, just metric over time. I won't give you an Excel lesson today, but using conditional formatting up here, you can use color scales to, set a data range and give you the red, green, yellow. So which is easy. A lot of people like this North Star metric here. This is another good one like this. This is really about, future goals. Here's a product, marketing, sales, tech, accounting, finance, people, and culture. So this is a great one. Let's go to the example here and look at that. So here's an example. Their North Stars are more sales oriented, but new leads, subscribers. They have a target. Here's the goal, actual, a little bit less. Where it comes from, they'll, when the other good thing to do is as you report on your scorecard is always give a read, like a synopsis or, why this is that, why is it red? There's some marketing, sales. So you can just do whatever as much or as little as you would like in this spreadsheet. This is a great one to use to get started, I think. So you can come up with your own. I've got a bunch of different variations that I've used over the years, but this is a pretty good one. It's pretty simple and easy to fill out. So let's see if we have anything. Okay. let's see. Okay, somebody asked me about Gusto. I haven't really used Gusto. That's for payroll and accounting. Um, I, you know, again, there's a ton of different programs to use for accounting software. QuickBooks is the big dog. All the bookkeepers use it. It's expensive. There's just no getting around that. So you can, I don't know, use what you'll use. That's what I like to say. There's another accounting and payroll software that you can use called Wave, W-A-V. It's waveapps.com, I think it is. But it's free. It's great. And has this great invoicing tool built in. It'll connect you with Stripe, and you can automatically invoice your customers right then and there. It's a great little tool. The businesses that I manage and operate, we do have employees. I personally like to have things kind of separated out as much as possible. So there's not a lot of power things in one different application. That's why a dashboard app is really important to me. So like, if I'm using QuickBooks, that's the accounting portion and that's it. So it'll pay bills, it'll collect invoices, and that's all it does. I will always use a payroll service to do my payroll. I will never do payroll in-house or use the payroll function for QuickBooks. Now, this is just me talking. I'm not telling you to do it. I'm just giving an example. So I use the payroll service, could be like Paychecks or ADP or Paycor. And then, that is reconciled with QuickBooks. But I definitely keep those two things separate. Then I do prefer and like and recommend that you have a CPA firm that doesn't do your books, that actually does your taxes and reviews everything for you. And that kind of gives you a lot of protection. Costs a little bit more, but it is well worth the extra money to keep things clear and minimize a lot of I don't know, mistakes, and it could be fraud or theft or things like that if you have a bunch of employees. So that's my 2 cents. I hope that answered your question. Let's see if I got everybody. Yeah. Okay, great. So let's talk a little bit about using AI to kind of put all this together. And if you haven't really messed around using AI tools, I mean, you're kind of missing the boat. It's fantastic. Once you kind of get your feet wet a little bit in it, it's a great way to get started. So here's a couple just quick things that you can do, and this has been super easy. I've messed around with this myself. Here's 3 different things you can put together. Really, if you boil it down, it's 2. But here's 2 apps or 3 apps that you can cobble together to put together a program that makes this work real time if you wanted to do. And I'll show you just a little bonus at the end here. But Creately is, in essence, it's like an AI-powered Canva in a way. So it's really kind of a graphic designer, but they have a ton of templates, which are really cool and easy to use. They have some good, really good dashboarding templates that you can put together. It's not a lot of work. This other one I like even better than Creately is BSC Designer, and it stands for Balanced Scorecard Designer. And so this is built for the balanced scorecard methodology. So their templates are already intuitively put together to balance all this stuff out. And then if you add in Zapier, which is a plugin that you can use to connect different unrelated applications and make them talk to each other, I mean, you really got something that can work great for you. So Creately is, it can instantly generate the balance score. Like I said, it's got a bunch of templates. It can import data on its own from Excel and as a CSV file, like I was talking about from QuickBooks or something. Automatically integrates with Google Drive, Slack, or Teams. So you can populate that data in there. BSC, like I said, their templates are meticulously already set up, and I think I really like them a lot. They are already connecting with, or can automatically connect. You don't really need to use Zap to connect them in a lot of things. Their visual dashboards and KPI tracking is just automatically built in. Like with Creately, it's their since it's kind of a graphic software, they look cooler, but they're not intuitively organized like BSC is. And then like the last part is Zapier, and it is basically like a plugin, like a bridge between different software and different apps that normally can't talk to each other. And you don't know how to code or anything. It's like I said here, it's logic, like it's point and click. If this happens, then do this. It's just that simple. So if this information shows up, put it over here. It's pretty quick. So step by step, just make a list of all the stuff that you use, like for QuickBooks or Shopify, MailChimp, your, I don't know, stuff from Google reviews, your metrics from your website, whatever. And then choose a dashboard tool and then come up with your template. Step 2, pick your template and then connect the apps using Zapier. They call it a Zap. Put together your Zap. So here's the example. So when a new sale happens in Shopify, Zap updates your KPI in your dashboard that a sale had happened. And just, follow the prompts. Oddly enough, once you get good at it, it just takes a couple seconds, but it might take you 10 or 15 minutes to kind of get used to plugging all this stuff together. And it's scary. Well, it was scary for me because I was kind of afraid, like if I did this, was I going to wipe out all my accounting data? Nope, didn't happen. But it took me a second and a few deep breaths before I hit the Zap button and let them put together. So you can also, this is the cool part about it, is schedule syncs. So you can do it every hour, every day, every week, whatever frequency you want it to go out and sync all this stuff up. And then, basically, as I mentioned before, if your dashboard supports direct integrations, where you don't have to have an API bridge like Zapier, then it can be real time. Something happens, then your scorecard just immediately changes. So this is probably the best way to move forward, but I would actually start with Excel and get used to just doing that and understanding how the data works together, how it puts together. But coming up with with the setup and the metrics is probably the hardest part, not putting all this together. Like I said, there's no coding involved. It's just, everything is just point and click and put together. Once it's done, everything works automatically. The only time you really have to manage things is if you want to change a metric or a KPI. So you might want to add something or take something out. So it's just that simple. So here's kind of some comparison. they're so close and they're so good, but honestly, my preference is the BSC designer. It makes better sense to me. I don't need all the bells and whistles stuff. Uh, with Creately, like I said, you can really make this thing look cool, and it reminds me that when back last year I was trying to this is way off topic, but work on learning how to do bullet journaling, and bullet journaling is kind of a big thing, and I'm just a guy with poor handwriting, and people would spend hours and hours with a pen and their notebook, you know, making all this stuff look great and coming up with all this artwork, and I just needed to do my thing. I'm kind of like the same way here. So, if you really want to make things look great, yeah, Creately's a great app for you. BSC Designer, that's the one I like. But again, there's a ton more out there, and I'm not going to go through a ton of different apps to do an app comparison. But pick one that works for you. And even if the integrations are kind of lacking, if you use Zapier and you can put anything together, there's nothing you can't put together. You can start and put your dashboard together and automate it basically for free. Creately has a free trial for 30 days or something like that. BSC has a free plan. It's kind of limited. I think you get 10 templates and something like that. And then Zapier, you can automate 100 tasks per month. So if you minimize, the amount of syncing and different things, you can have a free dashboard and have it all set up and ready to go. No time at all. So if you would like to have a copy of the Excel file, well, I can just send it. You can hit me up for that. If you can't wait, if not, in a couple of days, we'll send you out a recording of this, and I can include the dashboard Excel file there for you to mess around with. In the meantime, if you'd like to meet with one of us, you can just take a second there and put your phone over the screen, see that QR code. That'll take you right to our Coach Connect page, and there you can see me and everybody else on the team. You can see our calendars. You can pick a time and date that works best for you. You don't have to talk to me. You don't have to call me. Ask me if I'm open for this or that time. Just pick the time you want. We'll be there waiting for you on Zoom and be happy to help you out any way we can. Everyone on the team, including me, I do love seeing everybody. It's really exciting to hear what everybody's doing, what they're working on, what the ideas are. So we're always excited when you pop up on our schedule. So please do that. Don't be shy. So don't know if we have any questions or comments or anything. I don't think we do.
Yeah, you do have one Q&A.
I think I talked about that one over. I
Oh,
think
you
that's
did. Sorry.
that's the Gusto one. Yeah, we
Gusto,
talked about that. Yeah, let me hit that. Okay. Yeah, so I don't know. I never get a lot of questions, Janice. I'm assuming either it's so boring no one wants to talk to me, or that it was just such a great presentation. Nobody has any questions. I don't know which one it is, but I hope it's the other. So, well, anyway, I really encourage you to think about putting together a dashboard, even if it's using Excel or a piece of paper. Even it's a great thing to get started with. So, I guess that's it for today. I really appreciate everyone joining me, and it's oh, thanks, James. James says, thank you so much for the information. Very helpful. I hope so. Yeah, reach out. Be happy to help you put your dashboard together. We can work on this together. It's fun for me. I love doing it. It's, I don't know, kind of a nerd that way. But Janet, thanks for running the ship for us. I appreciate it, as always.
Sure thing, everyone. Stick around. We have a quick survey for you to fill out.
Yep. Oh, wait, I think somebody popped up here with a question. Yes. Okay. Yeah, Joan. Oh, hey, Joan. Yeah, Joan said she'd like to do this. Yeah, let's get on my schedule there, and oh boy, can work on that, so. All right, well, that brings us to close of another Toolkit Tuesday. I'm so happy everybody joined us today. And we will see you next week on another Toolkit Tuesday. Have a good week.